I'm really happy to be here this afternoon, and I'll just make a disclosure. I filed Senate Bill 220 in March of this year that would have tied the minimum wage to index it according to the cost of living. That bill was sent to a committee. I tried all kinds of maneuvers to get it out, so it wasn't even heard. And I think that North Carolinians need to know what your elected officials think about your working status. They didn't respect the bill enough, or you enough, to even hear the bill, to hear comments on the bill. But right here in the state of North Carolina, even though the federal minimum wage and our state minimum wage is $7.25, we pay state employees $10.74 an hour. So if we recognize that we can't work state employees for $7.25 an hour, then we should recognize the fact that everyone should be paid a fair wages. And even $10.74 an hour is not a livable wage for the state of North Carolina. And just as a policymaker, when I look at the data and the reports that says that it costs us as taxpayers $264 million a year to subsidize companies like McDonald's and Burger King, who pays their workers and our constituents and our neighbors and our family members the minimum wage, while they take in all these profits. It's just not acceptable. And as a policymaker, I'm appalled when I look at the number of people that's working, the working poor, that have to rely on some kind of public assistance to make ends meet, and then they barely meet. While at the same time here in North Carolina, we cut unemployment benefits, we cut the number of hours weeks that you can get unemployment, the amount of unemployment benefits. North Carolina must do better in this area. And most of the time you hear people say, well, it will cause people not to hire. I don't know, haven't seen any data. For business folk, it makes more sense if people have disposable income. They can meet their basic needs and have disposable income. You're gonna do more business because we tend to spend money where we live. So there is no data to support that if you raise the minimum wage, it's going to decrease jobs. It just doesn't hold water. When we look at the fact that people, the working poor, not only are suffering in not being able to provide their basic needs, they have to go to our local agencies to help them, subsidize them with paying their light bills or their rent. They need assistance with public housing. We are paying for all of this, while the folk that are hiring our constituents, they're making off like fat cats. And I mean, you know, it's just time for us to stop talking nice about it. And I feel very strongly about it because I know when you organize yourselves and you work together, one of the down points of this meeting was a young lady said, if I'm going to be on TV, I'm scared I'm going to lose my job. I said, well, honey, it doesn't matter much anyway because they're not paying you what you're worth. But as long as they can keep us fearful and not organized, then that's why they can continue to treat us this way. But I came up in Winston-Salem where R.J. Reynolds tobacco company was doing the same thing to workers, and most of them are women. Such is the same thing is happening today. Women, mothers that's head of households, they're being pimped. And you will find I don't use a lot of pretty words. I'm gonna tell you just like it is. But when those women organized themselves, came together under distress, under the threat of arrest and death, let me tell you, Reynolds started paying people. I am a product of a wage where my parents were able to send me to college from R.J. Reynolds. But it took sacrifice. It took willing to stand up together as a group and not to be intimidated. And I can tell you, as this process goes along in North Carolina, Yes, there are going to be threats. You may get fired. But if you stand long enough, when you do find a job, it's going to pay you for what you are worth. Amen. And because I remember our speaker in his speech in the House saying North Carolina is going to be the best right to work state in the nation. What a sad thought that a leader in our state want to keep our people working for minimum wage and vow to it nationally. Well, I tell you, we need to make him a liar. Yeah. We need to make him a liar. And I'm a product of a woman named Velma Hopkins who stood face to face with the people at Reynolds, with the big guys there, and they made a difference. And she told me, don't ever speak down and don't look down. When you believe in something, stand up, speak up, and if necessary, act up. So I'm encouraging you. I will come anywhere. I will stand with you. I will speak with you. But we have to do this together. It's going to take everybody. And if you stay together long enough, the big boys will come around. But as long as they can plant fear in you, then they are the winners. And we cannot move forward like that. North Carolina is moving backwards. They're not only doing workers wrong, they're doing the citizens wrong through a lot of issues. So I'm encouraging you. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to stand with you. If you are willing to stand and say, I want my value, and I'm worth more than $7.25 an hour. I think you are, and I hope you think you are. I'm ready to be on the front line with you. All right.